now return to Toronto's Kensington Market for a conversation with the Prime Minister.
As a father, but also as a leader, I'm extremely worried. This pandemic is dragging on, and it's exhausting for everyone.
While most Canadians got their shots, a vocal minority disagreed.
The whole point to this is, number one, to end the mandates for truckers. We need our truckers need to roll.
And the protests rocked the country to its core.
There is no place in our country for threats, violence, or hatred. It needs to stop. The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to address the blockades and occupations.
You've had a difficult year. You've faced a lot of vitriol and hate as well, and I'm wondering how you've dealt with that this year particularly.
Well, I think, first of all, the folks who had the tough time this year, particularly the early beginning of the year with the convoy, were the folks facing occupations in their neighborhoods, the folks seeing disruptions to supply chains that are already strained around the world, and being able to respond to it.
Here, a selfie with Justin Trudeau still has appeal.
Thank you. All right, you're very welcome. You know, people facing significant disruptions that were no fun for a lot of people.
But the anti-vax vibe appears entrenched among some Canadians.
Hi there. Building better. Justin, when are you going to lift all the restrictions?
How do you respond to a gentleman like that who says that there are restrictions still around? There's still a lot of anger.
You know, what we have to do is try and engage with people as best you can. Try and counter some of the negative narratives, the broken.
Right now?
I suspect he won't really be listening to me, but I'm willing to try. Sir, why don't you come on over? Come on over. Sorry. So, what's your name? You have a first name?
I do.
What's your first name?
My name's Attila.
Hello, Attila. I'm Justin.
Yes.
So, what is your biggest concern right now?
So, my biggest concern is all the restrictions that we have at the borders, the hassles that people have. I was detained coming back from Chicago.
Okay.
And I was made to
when
show
was that?
August.
August, okay. So the restrictions were still in place at that point?
Correct. Are they all gone now?
Most of them are absolutely gone, yes.
And they're going to be gone for good.
But that depends on COVID, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? If the situation comes back, we're going to have to be responding. Every step of the way, we've listened to doctors, we've listened to public health experts to do what we can to keep Canadians safe.
So why are Canadians being doctors? People like, let's say, Stephen Malthouse, people like Robert Malone.
Okay.
Why are they being so restricted and shunned?
I don't know those doctors you're talking to. What we focus on is public health experts, pandemic researchers, the kinds of people who've actually gave us the recommendations that led Canada to having a far less damaging and deadly pandemic than many places around the world, even as we saw our economy come back stronger. Every step of the way, we'll listen to science and doctors, and that's what we're here to get to it.
What happened in Ottawa with the truckers was a good thing?
No, it wasn't. It was a very difficult time for citizens of Ottawa because it was also a difficult time for a lot of people who were worried about their futures across the country.
I was there. It was one of the most peaceful places I've ever been to.
Well, you know what? There's an open investigation. There's a level of transparency going on with the Commission that will put out a report on whether you're right or me. Anyway, thank you, sir. Oh, you know what? It starts on vaccinations.
Are you surprised that there's still that anger out there?
No, I think Canadians have always been able to have and proud of having a range of diverse views and perspectives and are comfortable sharing them openly in this city and in this country. That's one of the great strengths of this country, and that's what we're going to continue to make sure everyone can do. Hi there. How are you guys doing? Oh, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
You had said at some point during those protests that the protesters were part of a fringe who believed in conspiracy theories and wear tinfoil hats. When you go back and reflect on those words specifically, do you feel that there's a lesson in there for you? Do you feel that you did everything you could to lower the temperature?
I think in in all my communications, in the frustration that Canadians were feeling, not just around that, but around the pandemic in general, there was a sense that Canadians really stepped up for each other. People went out and got vaccinated to a higher degree than just about any other country, and because of that, we actually had a better and safer pandemic than most people. Yes, we lost far too many people and it was heartbreaking, but we did better than most of the other countries that we can compare to. The fact that there were some people out there who were actively spreading harmful disinformation and misinformation, harmful lies that made people scared that the vaccine was more dangerous than the virus, and families sitting around the bedside of a loved one who was dying from COVID saying, oh my God, I wish he'd just taken the vaccine. I wish he hadn't listened to all those YouTube channels. Like, this is real. There were real tragedies, and there were people trying to gin that up and to expand the divisions and the fear and sense of conspiracy that were out there. We had, as a government, always and will always be extremely patient with people who are hesitant about getting a vaccine or whatever. But those people who were actively putting people's lives in danger by spreading falsehoods around science that will help and heal and save people and save our economy and save lives and save our institutions. Those people, and they were a small minority within the larger anti-movements who were really vocal. I don't and I won't apologize for calling out people who were harming their fellow Canadians.
So tinfoil hats comment, you don't regret?
Well, when someone believes that your government is trying to inject a vaccine in you to control your mind and track you, and there's a microchip in it, that's almost the definition of a government conspiracy theory, that you wear a tinfoil hat to protect your brain from brainwaves. When people fall into conspiracy theories, we need to call them out on that.
We know that Justice Rouleau will be presenting the findings from the Emergencies Act inquiry before the end of February. This was such a key moment for you, right? Any time there's a discussion about suspending civil liberties, it's a big deal. And I'm just curious,
Except the Emergencies Act didn't suspend civil liberties, right? The Emergencies Act was created after Canada brought in